What was Brooklyn King Radio? It was pirate radio frequency 1002.96. It was raw. It was crazy. It wasn't hood. It was neighborhood. See, if it was going down in New York City or any of the 5 boroughs, we were on it. Before there were podcasts, there was Shoutcast Radio. Before there was iTunes, there was Winamp and LimeWire. And before there was anything called the Breakfast Club, there was already a show in New York with 2 crazy guys and 1 woman keeping it all together. These are the archives of Brooklyn King Radio, the wildest show that you never heard of.
Man, Time Cop was dope.
He reached his peak with that movie, and after that, he was on his way down, man.
In Time Cop, Van Damme was a part of the Time Enforcement Commission. Some motherfucker found some way to go back through time and fuck with the past. So basically, what motherfuckers was doing was they was going into the time machine and going back to the fucking Civil War and getting them fucking gold coins and shit and bringing that shit back to the present and making mad money. Crazy. Niggas was going back and fucking bitches that they didn't get a chance to fucking raping them and then coming back to the future like it ain't never happened and shit. It was crazy. So they started the fucking Time Enforcement Commission and Van Damme was a top cop there and shit. They had this ship that sends them through time. The little belt thing brings them back to the present and shit, man. So what happened was his best friend, Lionel, that nigga went back in time and was making mad money off the stocks and shit, man, chilling. You know what I'm saying? And that motherfucker was sitting back and relaxing, and he saw that fucking ripple come through and shit, and it was Jean-Claude, boy. That nigga had the long hair. That nigga was chilling, boy. I forgot what that nigga name was and shit, man. But that nigga did that fucking Van Damme shit. How have you been, Lion? Do that shit, you know what I'm saying? Yo, Van Damme had the fucking voice and shit. I saw Tyson B speaks on TV. He do that shit. That boy can't speak a lick of English and shit, but the shit was funny. I fucking dug Van Damme. Van Damme had the dopest body to me of all time. Yo, I was into the physical fitness shit. You know what I'm saying? So I had pictures of Schwarzenegger in my room trying to get Diesel. You know what I'm saying? But when I saw Van Damme, it was over. I said, fuck Schwarzenegger. This is the way you gotta be. And yo, I'm telling you. And I realized that Van Damme had a high point. Now, when he had a high point, my man started drinking and drugging. He was.
And womanizing.
Yeah, and womanizing.
I heard he was a bit of an abuser.
Yeah, he used to slap bitches around and shit, man. Listen, you can't fault Van Damme for fucking bitches. Look at the dude's fucking physique here. And he's not an ugly dude. The dude is blessed with good looks. He's gotta fuck bitches or he'll die. You know what I'm saying? It's just that fucking simple, all right? But yo, Van Damme to me is the man. Listen, you can never count yourself out in Hollywood. He hasn't had a good movie since. He's done a whole bunch of straight-to-video joints. Legionnaire, Replicant, which is like the last Van Damme movie I saw. These are shits you motherfuckers ain't never even heard of. My favorite movie of Van Damme or movies would be Hard Target. That was when that motherfucker was down in Louisiana and shit. And these dudes was hunting him. That was Hard Target, Bloodsport, and I kind of like Double Impact. A lot of people didn't like that. The worst movie Van Damme ever made was when that motherfucker signed on to do Street Fighter.
Oh yeah, that was his worst.
That was the worst movie ever made.
Kickboxer was decent too.
Yeah, oh yeah, Kickboxer was cool.
Yeah,
Kickboxer was cool.
He went to did the
yeah, that nigga do that Muay Thai shit.
Yeah, with the glass on the benches, man.
Yeah. Well, that was a good one. The main nemesis in that was this cat Tong Po. And Tong Po was Tong Po was a killer. Tong Po was going around just like, if he see you with your girl, he just take your girl off the street and mess like that. That's what he did to Van Damme's chick.
Yeah.
Van Damme had this young, fresh flower. And she was just sitting up there just watching him do Muay Thai and shit. That nigga Tong Po came, took her, and fucked the shit out of her and bust in her face. Alright, mess like that, yo. Tong Po didn't give a fuck, son. That nigga didn't give a fuck. So, just like a normal chick, she ain't tell Van Damme about that shit. So he start fighting Tong Po and shit. And Tong Po whipping his ass and shit. And Tong Po dropped the bombshell. You bleed like me. Like me. Good fuck. That nigga said that shit. That nigga went back to his corner. And my Lin was over there. And he was like, tell me. And she couldn't tell him. Like, tell me. That nigga was crying. That nigga was crying because his girl got raped. That shit had me cracking up and shit, man. You don't cry because your girl got raped. Fuck the bullshit, man. That's Tong Po. You should give your girl the Tong Po. That nigga's a kickboxing champion before you came here. All them bitches on the island was here. You just some fucking white dude coming down here stealing the fucking Muay Thai art. Come on, man. Tong Po would have fucked her anyway if you wasn't here. He just waited till you got here. You know what I'm saying? Yo, fuck the bullshit, man. Of course, you know, Van Damme won in the end and shit like that. You know, somehow, some way, he wins in the end, and that was it. That was fucking kickboxing. That's the shit.
They had that other one with Dennis Rodman and it was
that was I dug that double team.
Yeah.
Double Team was a cool movie. That started Rodman's little career. But word up, man. That was, you know what? Like I said, Double Team was pretty good. I could have get with that shit, man.
And then they had Cyborg.
Yeah, Cyborg was one of the worst movies of all time. All right, fuck
I
the
like
bullshit.
Cyborg,
Yeah, of course you would. That shit sucked. All right, that was one of Jean-Claude Van Damme's first fucking movies. It was ridiculous. I can't even, son. It was one of the movies where I can't even remember it was that stupid. I looked at it and erased my memory.
Nah, it was post-apocalyptic, man. It was post-apocalyptic, and then there was a woman who had like some kind of thing, some kind of chip in her brain. She was a robot or a cyborg.
Was it a sex chip?
No, it wasn't a sex chip. She donated herself to science, right?
Oh,
and they put the chip.
God.
They put the chip in her brain, but whatever information she had there was gonna help rebuild the Earth, right?
Ah.
So he had to protect her, but then they had like the pirates and shit, and the pirates wanted her. You know what I'm saying?
The pirates wanted the fucking cyborg fucker.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
was gonna rape the shit out of that
Exactly.
bitch cyborg style
But
and shit.
he had to get her to like Atlanta or someplace to some doctor or whatever, so he can get the information out.
Cyborg sucks extreme dick. Don't ever watch that movie, y'all. Ever.
I thought it was all right, man. The fight scenes were decent. I mean, it wasn't like an A movie. It's still a B movie, but I thought
That
it was,
shit
I
is
thought
a
it was
Z
decent.
movie.
I thought it was decent.
That shit is a fucking Z movie. Nothing but fucking Z's on that shit.